Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat? What's up, everybody? My name is Steve. This is the Fandom Show. It's Monday again, so that must mean it's time for more Monday Suck. In today's episode, we are looking at Batman Forever. If you remember way back during the first ever episode of this that I did, we took a look at Batman and Robin, which is undeniably one of the worst movies ever made. Batman Forever is more of a mixed bag. It's got a 38% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's rather polarizing among fans. It is well known for the performances of Jim Carrey as the Riddler, that was him I was quoting at the start of the video, and as Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. Interesting little tidbit. Billy D. Williams, of course, Lando Calrissian fame, was cast as Harvey Dent in the 1989 Batman movie. And he had a clause put in his contract that said that if they used Two-Face in a future movie, he wanted to play the guy. In this movie, Warner Brothers decided, well, they wanted to go with Tommy Lee Jones instead, I guess because they felt he would be more marketable. So they had to basically cut Billy D. Williams a big check to buy out his contract and bring Jones on. So interesting little tidbit there. So the villains in this movie are very good. Jim Carrey's performance is probably the highlight. As for Batman and Robin, Val Kilmer, polarizing, like I said. I wasn't a huge fan of his take on Bruce Wayne. It wasn't terrible. Certainly not George Clooney level bad, but I just didn't really think it had the right vibes for Bruce Wayne. Chris O'Donnell as Robin, I kind of feel like they didn't give the guy that much to work with. You know, I mean, this crazy suit with nipples on it and kind of a weirdo backstory and just all this stuff going on. And I think he sort of did with it what he could. I don't think he was the right guy to play Robin. I don't think they handled Robin correctly, but he did what he could with it. This movie is known for being incredibly cheesy. It marked a shift in the series when Joel Schumacher took over. Up until this point, Tim Burton had been helming the Batman movies, but he left before this one was released. Schumacher changed up the style. Burton's was a darker, more dystopian Gotham. Joel Schumacher wanted to turn it into more of a retro living comic book, and he kind of did that. I mean, visually, this movie looks very good. I remember seeing it as a 12-year-old. Of course, my 12-year-old self loved it because it's got Batman fighting bad guys and the stuff blowing up and the Batmobile racing down the street and, you know, a really good soundtrack. So it was a lot of fun at the time, and it still is to an extent. I mean, if you've never seen this movie before and you've got 2 hours to spare, I highly recommend it. It's definitely not Nolan level, so if you're thinking that this is going to be anywhere like the superhero movies that we have today, you're going to be disappointed. It is cheesy, it's 90s-tastic to the max, but again, it's certainly not a bad time. It did pretty well. It made about $350 million at the box office. Of course, that's $1994, so whatever that equals to today, probably about half a billion in today's money. So again, not the worst of the worst, but Batman Forever is sort of noted for starting the franchise on its downhill slide because next we got to Batman and Robin, and then there were plans for a 5th movie, but because Batman and Robin stunk up the big one, Warner Brothers killed the franchise for 8 years until Nolan came along and revived it, and of course it's been quite healthy ever since, so thank you, Christopher Nolan, for that. But as far as Batman Forever goes, see it for Jim Carrey's performance, see it for some of the visuals. Don't see it as a great Batman movie because it's absolutely not one. My video on licensed video games is coming up very soon. I'm just putting the finishing touches on that. That's all I have for tonight, guys. I do thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy.